I'm getting chills right now. There is such a peace in your life that so many people want, but are you really ready to do the work? Are you really ready? Guys, we are going to be talking about the 3 things that women business owners are struggling with. And I've had the pleasure of working with 2 business owners in the past 24 hours. And pretty much it's about them dealing with the issues and me helping them to be able to navigate through those issues. And it's one of those things where it's very common. Like, a lot of people don't realize that they're not the only ones going through the one issue. There are many people dealing with the same issues for different situations, but the bottom feeling of what they, the feel, when I say bottom feeling, like the frustration, the anger, the disappointment, all those emotions of what they feel is pretty much, across the board with many people. And I'm here to encourage you guys to know that you're not the only ones dealing with it. And then also there's a way out of it. So with these business owners, I've been able to help them connect with hearing God's voice, which is one of the things that many people tell me that they want to do. As you guys know, I can hear God's voice very clearly. And I use my spiritual gifts within my business and outside of my business. And with that, it's helping people to be able to hear God's voice so they can become more aligned in their business life. So for those who are joining me for the first time, my name is Terry Black. I am a business, life, and wealth coach. So a lot of you guys have seen my transition over time, but at the end of the day, I'm still a manifesting coach. I'm still a mindset coach. I'm still a money coach. So we're just bubbling up into me having a particular niche, which is business, life, and wealth coach, but really and truly connecting to your you serving God and making sure that you are aligned with God. And that is where a lot of people are struggling, where they want to serve and they want to make sure they're serving God in the capacity of their business, but they're dealing with a lot of frustrations, which we're going to jump into. Okay. So, with working with these business owners, one of the things that they have been mentioning to me is the fact that they are not feeling connected to God. One told me that she used to hear God's voice and now she doesn't hear it anymore. And I was able to help her connect there. Another business owner is very faith-based. Their business is 1,000% faith-based in what they do. And as a Christian, they are coaching people in in different ways. But with that, a lot of times people, again, desire to hear God's voice, but they just don't know if God is speaking to them. They feel alone in the process, but they know at the end of the day that God is leading them. They know that God has told them to do something, but it's a matter of, are they actually working the steps that God has for them, which is where I come in and I help people be able to navigate that space. But I wanted to kind of talk through not hearing God's voice and feel, even though you're led, right? So I'm going to tell you about my journey, as I'm telling you about these other ladies' journey as well, and how I knew I was being led to be the wealth sharer. And, one of those things is that God revealed to me within the past few months. This year, that I've always been hearing him. I just didn't know it was his voice. And that is a lot of what people are dealing with. So with me, my backstory is that I wanted to help people in a bigger way. I started, with mindset, changing people's mindset on a smaller scale. And that scale was me doing mugs, which was like this. Manifest greatness. I had different sayings on mugs, but I knew that God wanted me to work in a capacity of helping people change their mindset. That I felt led to. Okay. And then, I asked God for my purpose, and, there was a day where I felt led to go on YouTube, and I found this video that talked about purpose, right? Because a lot of people say they want to be connected to their purpose. I wanted to know, but God revealed it to me in a video. And again, feeling led. And when I watched the video, I was able to understand what my purpose was. And that's when I said to God, hey, God, This is your child, and I said, I want to be able to reach people on a bigger way and be able to help people on a bigger platform. So, I will say this quickly. A lot of people want to know their purpose, and a lot of people they're scratching the surface level of their purpose because they know that God gave them a vision to operate in their business. They just are moving through the emotions of this world and feeling defeat before they even, really put themselves out there to where they're not necessarily working in their purpose the way they need to. And that's where I help you become more aligned. So with me, I asked God, I said, God, I want to help people on a bigger scale. I was helping my friends and my family. Even though I was going through my own struggles as a business owner when I was, having my mug business, feeling depressed and feeling alone, feeling like I was selling my mugs. Like that wasn't necessarily the issue. The issue was that I wanted to be on a grander scale. I wanted a bigger platform. I wanted to reach more people. I wanted to help people. I wanted them to really understand, like, it's more than words on mugs. This is really about you changing your mindset. And, so I closed that business because I started to feel the defeat like a lot of business owners feel. And I did not push past my circumstances. I did not push through. I didn't listen to God telling me to keep going. And, I went ahead and I got back into corporate. And with that, I started helping people again. I was still helping people with mindset and money. I was still working on myself and my affirmations and writing gratitude. So within that period, God was still working on me. He was still helping me navigate this life to know that he was going to bring me here. But with that, I was still doing the work. So it's not like I quit my business. Teaspirations was my business, LLC, I have inventory. So, it was a legit business. But again, feeling depressed, feeling frustrated, feeling alone, feeling like I didn't have anyone to talk to when it came to business, and the frustrations that I was feeling, and then having to navigate through, how do I get customers? Who do I speak to? How do I get myself out there? And, I gave up too soon. But at the end of the day, God still had a plan for me. And that's the one thing I want to say to you guys and be encouraging to you guys is that when God still has a plan for you, he will still bring you back full circle. And it will be bigger than when you started, but you have to keep going. So, in 2019, I started, the infamous sharer was where I started, right? And the infamous sharer turned into the wealth sharer. So again, feeling led. I felt led, right? And there was times where God was telling me to go ahead and start on Instagram and start my website and do these things. Because I did a website, my past businesses, but I wasn't really putting myself out there, which is what a lot of people are not doing in their business, okay? But with that, I always felt led. I always felt like I was, I felt the push. And if you get what I'm saying, I want you to go ahead and comment and let me know that you know what I'm saying. I felt that push towards the business, and it was something that so many ideas was coming to me. I was seeing the vision, and it was coming to me, and I was writing things down, and I was just like, it was nonstop, right? It was just like floods of information. Like it was just coming in such a beautiful way. And that's how you're led, when it just flows, and it was just flowing. So I remember one day trying to figure out my name, right? So I know I wanted to have the sharer in my name. And I know that I wanted to be able to help people because that's what it was, right? Sharing information and helping people to be able to really change their lives in ways that they haven't imagined. So the infamous sharer was more of like, I will tell you, okay, so with the infamous sharer real quick, it was more of like, I looked up what the infamous mean, and it's like you're known for doing something. Sometimes people can see it as a negative thing, but I try to turn it into a positive thing where I'm infamous for sharing information, right? And because I was sharing information all the time with people because I wanted them to be better, whether it was strangers, whether it was my friends, whether it was my family. I was always wanted to pour into people. And then going into 2021, I remember hearing the wealth sharer. And I was like, that's it. That's my name. So, this is a story of me feeling led, knowing that I wanted to serve, knowing that I wanted to have a business and I wanted to be successful, but I felt led and I listened. But I will say this, you can listen to what God is saying to you, but that doesn't mean that you are truly aligned with what it is that he has for you, the plan. Because what happens is that a lot of times people get into God's way, and like you hear it more of like you get into your own way. No, you're getting into God's way. And that is you actually, derailing what the plan is by, the self-doubt and coming up with these ideas that are not aligned with his purpose and not aligned and trying to do things quickly. So, everybody wants, and I say everybody, but yeah, that's the right thing, right? Everyone wants to have success. Everybody wants to be able to be successful, and but some people tend to deem the money, the financial aspect of it as success, not realizing that there's a lot more to being success, just like there's a lot more to wealth than there is money. So with that, that's where I help people be able to navigate in the space of their businesses. Another thing is, that wanted to give up. I just told you guys my own story, but that was with the T-spirations. So feeling led, right? So they all connect, and you guys know what I'm talking about. For those who know how God works, or you have some type of understanding, because a lot of people don't really know how God works. I know how God works because I can hear God very clearly, but I still haven't really, reached the maximum potential of me understanding God in a bigger scale, because it's one of those things where you have to have patience. But with that, it is more of, wanting to give up because you are feeling like you're failing. And I remember even when I started the Infamous Sharer, like I was running classes on doing webinars for people for money. I've paid off over $100,000 worth of debt myself. So I was doing webinars teaching people how to manage their debt, how to manage, build out a budget for themselves and be able to help them get out of debt using a spreadsheet that I was selling, the same spreadsheet that I used to get out $100,000 worth of debt, the same one that I use with my clients to help them get out of debt. So I was doing webinars, but it wasn't enough, because what God told me from the beginning of me starting my business, that I was to marry mindset and money. There are people out there who are just doing mindset or who are just doing money. God wanted me to do both. And that's what I bring to the table, which is different, but also I bring a lot of things to the table that's different. If you follow me, if you listen to my videos, if you have seen the testimonies of my clients and realize that, like, the Wealth Sharer, I haven't even said the Infamous Sharer. Like, I've said it in the past for a couple of days, but it's been a long time since I actually used those words. But the Wealth Sharer, Terry Black, is definitely different from what you see and what is being delivered. But with that, it is also helping you navigate through feeling of failure. And I love to tell people that there's really no such thing as failing, because it is about the lessons that you are learning from that, what you perceive as failing or what you perceive as mistakes. And that was one of the things one of the business owners told me, was that they felt like they were making mistakes. And I said to them, I was just like, as I was coaching them through their situation, it's lessons, it's not mistakes. It's obstacles, it's not problems. And language change is so important when it comes to how you navigate through life. When you are talking about, certain words and you're saying like problems, people use the word problems not realizing it's more a obstacle that's meant to be overcome. And that's so important in how you perceive your situation, because you are not allowing yourself to get derailed by what seems like a obstacle. Because, just think of a maze, right? There's a beginning and there's an end. And you might hit, you might go down a lane, let's just say, that may lead to what is looked at as a dead end. Turn around, find a different way, right? And that's how your business is really working and operating. I feel chills right now as I'm saying that. That's how life works, right? Think of it as a maze. Think of it as different ways that you can get well, there's really just one way, which is God's way. But, a lot of times people are going different ways opposed to what God has for them. But when you think of a maze, right, if you picture a maze in your head, right, you will know that there may be a path that you go down that you might feel, it is a roadblock, but there's a way to get to the end. And that's how I want you guys to understand what you're working through in your business and in your life, right? Because I always say how you show up in your life is how you show up in your business. You have to be authentic and show up as who you are. It's not a switch. Who you are in your daytime is who you are in your nighttime. Who you are in the day is how you show up in your work. And that's whether you work a 9 to 5 or if you actually have a business. So with that, it's more of you understanding that there is a path to the other side. And, I talk a lot about, God opening doors, and, some doors may be closed, but there are doors that are open. So with that, again, don't give up, on an idea because you feel like you don't understand how to make it happen. A lot of times people will sit on things, and people will sit on the vision and the ideas that God has given them because they haven't asked the right questions, because, they get the vision and they assume that, one, it's too hard to do, so they don't do it at all. They don't move on it. Or two, they do it, but they do it the wrong way because they're not asking God how. And we are to rely on God 1,000% in everything that we do, every capacity of our lives. So with that, you may feel like you're making mistakes, but it's not that you're necessarily making mistakes. It's just that you may not be taking the right path. And that is one of the things that I want to encourage you guys to know, that there is a right path. There is the path, and the path is God's path that he has for you. So as I was telling one of the business owners this earlier today, we were having our conversation, as I was helping her navigate through her situation, first being able to help her hear God's voice, which is something I do outside my business, guys. If you go to Guided to Listen, that is my new Instagram page where I am helping people be able to hear God's voice. I do classes for free once a month. I did think about doing it more than once a month, but God was like, nope, make it once a month. It's going to be very intimate. So it's going to be very limited spaces available. It's going to close off after a certain number. That number may fluctuate every month, but I do want you guys to know that that is something that I offer for free outside of the Wealth Sharer. It is Guided to Listen. That is my new Instagram page. So please go ahead and follow and sign up for the class. Like I said, it's once a month. But with the business owner, we're talking through the feeling of failure and wanting to give up. And, they were just saying like, they are also feeling like they don't want to wake up and get things done. And when she said that, it resonated with me because that's how I felt when I was working Teaspirations. I was feeling depressed. I didn't want to wake up. I felt like, I'm working, I'm trying, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And in reality, I wasn't really doing everything I needed to do, nor was I actually listening, because at that time I didn't know that I could hear God's voice. So when you know better, you do better. So when you know you can hear God, you can operate in full capacity of who you are to be in your life and in your business. So there is no mistakes. So one of the other things we talked about was, feeling like everything's coming at you. And that's really just life, right? Life be lifing, right? Life be lifing. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a matter of, are you asking God the right questions, right? And there's times where people ask God questions, but they don't know how it comes, which is why God had me set up the separate page for Guided to Listen, because I do help people be able to navigate between God's voice, distinguish God's voice from their voice so they can actually hear what God has for them. But God has something intended for you in your business. Whether you are product-based or service-based, it does not matter. It all boils down to, are you listening to what God has for you? Are you working the steps that he's telling you? So God may tell you to hire an employee, and he will tell you exactly who that employee is and how they should serve. Guys, this has happened to me already. Like, God has told me in my 9 to 5 that I needed to help I needed to set up a new position so I can, build out the department. So with that, I want to let you know, like, God will tell you things, but just because not just because, when he tells you things, there's more to the story. Okay. When he tells you things, there's more for you to do. So don't feel like, I heard, yes, I need to have an employee. Ask God what employee. Ask God how, like, you have to ask God the right questions. But what's happening is that there's a disconnect between you actually asking God the question and you not realizing that you're getting the answer. Because what happens is that you are having a difficult time, challenge per se, understanding God's voice, understanding God, how God is speaking to you, and actually working through the steps that he's telling you. So you might think it's your own self. And a lot of times when people think it's their own self, they are actually, getting in God's way, because now they're saying, no, that sounds too hard, or it sounds difficult. And guys, I can tell you, the word hard is not necessarily a word you should use, because when people hear the word hard, they automatically give up because they feel like it is something, they feel like they are in a box per se with no way out. And that is not what it is. When you use the word hard, you are boxing yourself in, and you are actually having it to where you are not fulfilling your goals, because you are stopping God from doing what he needs to do, because you have self-doubt, you have fear, you have all these things that are really not important, right? And I say not important because when you are confident in what God has in your business life, you will be confident in what you bring to the table. Okay. I want you to let that marinate. Okay. When you are confident in what God has for you, you will be comfortable in how you speak to others. You will be comfortable in your service and your product. You will show up and you will over deliver. You will not say things just to make money, just because you feel like that's the end goal. The end goal is not making money. The end goal is helping others. And yes, money is a residual of you helping people, and residual is probably not the right word. But money is a way that you gain prosperity per se, in terms of, like, you need money to pay your bills, right? You need money for shelter. You need money for food, right? With the inflation now, people need money, but it's not the end all be all. So when you don't do it for the money and you are working in your purpose, then the money will come, right? That is just something that I need people to understand. The money will flow. Money is an energy. When you stop feeling broke, money will flow. I will tell you guys, I don't feel broke because I'm not broke, okay? I have not been broke for a very long time, especially after paying off $100,000 worth of debt, okay? So, that freedom in money definitely does help, but it's not the first thing to focus on. You have to focus on your mindset for you to be able to push through obstacles, for you to be able to understand that you are worthy, for you to know that you're abundant, for you to have the confidence, for you to have the focus, for you to be productive and not be distracted by other things. So there's so many correlations to the words that I'm using. That is what a lot of people are lacking as a business woman. You are not foreseeing, you're not seeing the vision in how you need to operate and how you need to show up in your business, and you are focused on the wrong thing. A lot of times people are focused on the money before they want to work on the mindset. It doesn't work that way. Okay. You need to understand that your mental health is more important than anything money can buy. Your mental health is more important than you getting a new bag. Your mental health is more important than a car. How you show up every day, how you wake up, how you feel, how you respond to people, your relationships, how you treat your customers, how you deal with your clients. All that is based on your mental capacity, not having the mental burdens, and not feeling limitations. Because I'll tell you guys one thing, okay? When people say the sky's the limit, it means that there's no ceiling, okay? Think about the sky. Think about this universe. There is no ceiling. And that's the same way you need to show up in your business. That's the same way you need to show up in your life. So when you understand that you are the one setting your own limitations and you are the one who is really navigating life, not realizing that God should be navigating life for you, and you are to give up your driver's seat and let God guide you in how you need to show up, life will become so much easier, guys. When I surrendered, ooh, what a word. When I surrendered and I allowed God to navigate my life, life became a whole lot easier. And the more you connect with God, I will tell you, the more he will reveal. And the more he reveals, the more you're like, okay, God, I understand. When I say I'm getting chills right now, there is such a peace in your life that so many people want, but are you really ready to do the work? Are you really ready to show God that you're going to truly surrender, right? Letting go and letting God is not as easy as people think, but it's doable. And I say it's not as easy because a lot of times it's the world that has people captivated, right? In the things that they think they want, not realizing that's not what is aligned to God's plan. And when you are realizing that God's plan is the best plan that there is, you will allow God to do what it is that he needs to do, and you will get out his way. Okay. So again, I want you to know that even if you think that you can't hear God, you can. When you are being led, that is God leading you because he realizes that you don't recognize his voice. Okay. When you want to give up, I want to tell you, keep going, because God has a plan for you. And that plan is the best plan that there is. Okay. It's better than your plan. And when you feel like you're a feeling, I want you to know there's no such thing as feeling. There's only lessons, and how you navigate through those lessons and how you're able to understand what it is you're to take from a situation so you can do better. And when you feel like everything's coming at you, I want you to know that God will give you a lot of things because he's going to test you. But ask God the right questions so you are able to come out of it with ease. Okay, guys? So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I know many of you guys needed this message today. I've been getting a lot of right timing, and I say God's timing is always the right time. So the perfect time. God's plan is perfect. One of my aunts always say this. She's an amazing entrepreneur and businesswoman, and she's been saying that. It's been her tagline for many years. God's plan is perfect. So I wanted to give a shout out to Sass. Say it, mean it. That is her note card line. She has journals as well. Guys, check out my journal as well. I have a journal, I Am Wealth, and it is best used for entrepreneurs, which is to help them be able to navigate through the steps that God has for them versus their own steps. Because again, you might have a plan, but your plan is not connected to God's plan. And when your plan is different from God's plan, you will always be in frustration and feeling unhappy in what it is that you're trying to do, because you don't have true alignment to what God has for you. So my I Am Wealth journal is available on my website. I was just on a podcast yesterday, so go ahead. It's on my website as well. It's under the Wealth Sharer Speaks. You can find there. Soon I'll be loading the speaking event that I did last month, where I spoke to over 100 women and poured into them in that those minutes that I was on stage, that time I was on stage. And then also, again, be sure to check out the journal. And for the journal, I do have a membership monthly class to help you guys navigate through that membership. And then too, with the journal is like super intentional, right? So the reason why it's done the way it is, because that's what God wanted. God helped me to design the journal from beginning to end. And with that, it is being intentional about time with God. So quickly, I'm going to break down before I get going. The journal, it's 3 sets of 30-day affirmations in the journal, that you choose one affirmation for every day to set your day. And really what I do is I let God tell me what's my affirmation. On my angel team, they will tell me choose that one, and I'll write it out. And with that, I will allow God to remind me of the blessings that I've had, so I can write it down. And it's really a book of records, right? It's a book of records to refer back to remind you of all the gratitudes that God has blessed you with, the blessings in disguise that God has blessed you with. And then on the other page, it is for you to allow God the steps that he has for you, and also get the outline of those steps in the journal. So God's going to tell you what the outcome is. He's going to tell you why it's important. He's going to tell you, you're going to be able to connect the emotions to bring it to a full manifestation. All you need to do after that is execute. So guys, I want you guys to check that out. The I Am Wealth Journal is on my website. Again, the podcast that I was on yesterday is on my website under The Wealth Sharer Speaks. I will upload the speaking engagement, the speaking event that I did when I spoke to over 100 women about a month ago. That'll be on the website soon. So go on my website, and then also remember, God speaks to you. You can hear God. Remember that you are being led, and the reason why you're being led is because you're not hearing God. So he's pushing you towards those things in your business, and keep going, guys. That's what I'm going to say. And don't forget to check out my new page on where I'm helping you guys, okay? Not just business owners. It don't matter who you are. I'm helping you be able to hear God's voice. Sign up for my monthly class. It's always going to be free. That is the most priceless gift I can give to you, is being able for you to be able to hear God's voice, because so many people desire to hear God. So many people want to hear God. So with that, it is for you to be able to now have me. God used me as a vessel, okay? And as God used me as a vessel, is to be able to help people connect to him in a deeper way. So with Guided to Listen is the page. I don't know why I feel like, God, am I changing? I'm gonna have to talk to God and say, am I changing the name? But no, Divine Light, right? God is light. So Guided to Listen is the name of my new page. When you go on there, you will click the link in the bio, and you'll see that there is a monthly class. I have one coming up in a couple weeks. I did my first class last month, and it was amazing, okay? It was the bomb. It was phenomenal. It was beautiful. When I say I felt God in such a strong way, like my vibrations was just lit, okay? I felt God, and ladies felt God. They were able to hear God's voice. They was able to get the direction that they needed, and now they're connecting to God a little deeper. So with that, and I say a little deeper because it takes practice and it takes time. The one thing God is going to tell you, I just know, so yep, I can tell you, all right, is that you're going to need to be patient. People want so much of God so soon, not realizing it is steps and there's levels to this, okay? So again, I help you on the business front, but now I took the element of me helping people be able to hear God in a deeper way, and I put it on a separate page, because that's going to always be free. It's going to be always me sharing my personal journey. Yesterday I shared my journey of eating a ding dong on that page, where I felt sick and nauseated, and I actually heard my angel said, well, you knew better, because we told you not to eat. We told you not to eat it, but we also told you to stay away from sweets for 2 weeks. So in that page, you're going to get a personal journey of how God guides me to listen, but how he's guiding me to help you listen as well. So guys, I will see you soon. Thank you for joining in, and I will speak to everyone soon. Bye.
I've received this beautiful box from my friend, the Wealth Sharer, and I'm excited to receive my journal. The Wealth Sharer. I pray this manifesting journal puts you in alignment with your purpose and life journey. I am most excited for you to experience manifesting in a deeper way than you have ever imagined. With lots of love, Terry Black, the founder and chief executive officer of the Wealth Sharer. I have this beautiful sticker sent all the way from the U.S. to the United Arab Emirates. It's a 90-day gratitude and financial journal, and I'm definitely looking forward to starting this journey using my journal. Thank you, Terry.